That's it. Family's all here.
Bye.
Meeting will come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Benjamin.
Here.
Baylor.
Here.
Oldman.
Here.
Kasdorf.
Here.
Meyer.
Here.
Sardina.
Here.
Starks.
Here.
Is there anyone desiring to be heard? None. Consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Any other communications than the department reports?
No.
Committee reports, building board.
Building board met at 5:45 tonight, and we amended the occupancy permit for Alaska Fresh located at 4556 North 126th. End of report.
Thank you. Community events.
Community Events Committee met last Wednesday and held bingo this past Saturday. We had an amazing event where we saw over 233 packets of cards being sold throughout the evening. That was well received by the entire community. Appreciate everybody's support that was there. And we look forward to our next meeting, which will be the third Wednesday of February. End of report.
Thank you. Finance.
Finance Committee met a few minutes ago, and we approved December invoices of $133,936.24. Moved it on to the full board for approval. End of report.
Thank you. Community Foundation, we met last week and we nominated and approved putting Fran Clark Hansen into the spot of Bob Zulik's position. And I think that will begin immediately. And then we talked about general maintenance of the Clark House. End of report. The Plan Commission met this evening. We approved a conditional use permit for Sarah's Pet Paradise on North 126th Street in the Industrial Park. End of report on that. Public Safety Committee.
Public Safety met this evening as well. Had quite a lot of information. Just a couple of the highlights on the fire side. Normal run volume, slightly down since they're not responding with Menominee Falls, who went full time with all their staffing. Ongoing challenges with staffing, but we're holding our own. Our rigs have been serviced, and training has recently moved to more online, which has been working out very well. On the police department side, Officer Taylor Long Ross has now completed his probationary period with the department. I think we'll be talking about that real soon. And we also have our new full-time executive assistant. A lot of training happening, and that's all up to date. Our new the officers have put in service and trained on their new weapons, their new guns. Chief Zalewski was elected to the position of secretary with the Waukesha County Chiefs of Police Association. It's a 3-year term. End of report.
Thank you. Library Board.
Library Board met Tuesday, the 14th. We have a new library assistant. Our patron count was 21,751. That's the highest since 2020, COVID. 167 new library cards were issued. Yeah, an 8% increase in book checkouts. We also discussed circulation and collection policies. We reviewed those. We discussed and approved a business plan. And as always, we're always looking for board members. End of the report.
Thank you. Report of the administrator.
Just three quick things. Taxes are due next week, Friday, the 31st. We will have a spring partisan primary on February 18th. Ballots will be going out next week to those with a valid request on file. And I also just wanted to give a humongous shout out to our DPW department who fought -9-degree temperatures with -36-degree wind chills this morning to fix a water main break that took pretty much all day to fix. They were in the hole, wet, cold. They do an outstanding job every single day. So I just wanted to give them a big shout out and a big thank you to everything that they do. End of report.
Thank you. This time we'll have a public hearing. Item A, public hearing regarding a request from Nick Loeffler, agent for MMN Loeffler Family Limited Partnership doing business as Butler Skateland, located at 12400 West Custer Avenue, Butler, Wisconsin, 53007, to amend the 2021 conditional use permit to extend their hours of operation for their evening skate session on Saturdays from 8:30 PM to 9 PM for the continued operation of an indoor skating rink facility pursuant to Article 3, Section 54-72D and 54-359 of the Village of Butler Municipal Code of Ordinances. The property is zoned M3 Heavy Industry District. I'll open it at 6:06. Does anyone want to speak on that? I'm going to close it at 6:06 with no speakers or no one to speak on that. Next item is discussion B. Public hearing for discussion and possible recommendation on ordinance 25-02, an ordinance to amend certain sections of chapter 54, article 8 of the Butler Municipal Code regarding signs. I will open that at 6:06 as well. Does anyone want to speak about that? No one. I'll close that at 6:07 PM. At this time, we'll go into new business. I would ask that we have, I would like someone to make a motion so we can switch item B and put that at the end of the agenda, so we can accommodate some family members still on the way.
I'll make a motion to move item B to the bottom of our list.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
President Castorf,
Oh.
could I please have the motion be amended to have the library item be moved into that position? Just having them swap positions in the agenda lineup, because we do have a guest from Waukesha County Community Foundation.
Well, that would be item, that's something, we're gonna have item A and C. C is the library.
Okay,
Oh, I lied.
No,
I lied. Oh, goodness.
and well, Taylor's gonna go at the end now, because his family's running late.
Okay, so you want item G to be moved to B.
Correct.
Okay, that, all right, got it. All right,
what he said.
thank you. Motion was made, second. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. New business, item A, introduction of new police executive assistant, Melinda Davenport. If the chief could come forward.
I'll just step over here and you can join me. Good evening, everybody. So we're excited to announce and introduce formally to the board and to the community our new full-time police executive assistant, Melinda Davenport. Melinda comes to us with prior law enforcement experience, both in an administrative function and as a police officer. She's attended the police academy, and so she brings a wealth of knowledge to help and assist in our positions. She's been here for about a week. She's a quick learner. She's picking up on things very quickly, has already made my job much easier, and so we are trending in the right direction. As I stated in our public safety committee meeting, we had over 20 well-qualified applicants apply for this position. And it was a difficult decision until the end when I knew that Melinda was the right choice. So she's going to do great things here. We want to welcome her. And Melinda, I think you have a few guests that you invited today. Just want to introduce those to us.
I'm gonna make you all stand up since I had to stand up. So with me in the gray jacket is my husband Taylor, and then my mom Jeannie, and my dad Tom. You all can sit back down.
Anything else?
I'm really excited to be here. It's been 5 days, so don't go giving me a week yet. But it's been great, and everybody's been super welcoming, and I'm really looking forward to everything that I'm going to hopefully pick up on very soon, because asking questions gets kind of old when I know that I've asked them before. So
Thanks. And I also want to point out, and obviously we have Officer Longross that we're going to recognize for his completion of probation here tonight. But I think it's important, and I want to thank the members of our police department for being here. Every member of our police department is here right now. So many of them came in on their off day. Third shift guys came in early, so they're sacrificing maybe a few hours of sleep, but I think that speaks to the team that we've built here, and we're going to continue to grow. And I'm really proud to have every single member of this department here tonight, and moving forward, we're going to do really great things. So thanks, Melinda, and
Excellent.
thank you.
Okay, this time I'll do item G, resolution 2502, a resolution to approve the allocation and distribution of $10,000 to the Waukesha Community Foundation to open an agency fund on behalf of the Butler Public Library. And I would ask that Charlene and guest speaker come to the microphone, please.
Well, thank you very much for hearing us tonight. And I want to introduce Melissa Baxter, who is the president of the Waukesha County Community Foundation. She's come out tonight to address any questions you have about the foundation and about how we would work together. So I'm not going to make a speech. So go ahead and ask her, please ask her questions.
I can make a little bit of a speech. I just wanted to share that we work with other libraries within Waukesha County, including Waukesha, New Berlin, and Mukwonago. In addition to my role as president and CEO of the foundation, I'm also a volunteer as a trustee for the Waukesha Public Library. So a little bit familiar with the structures of libraries and the way they work with our municipalities here in Wisconsin. So would be excited to help build the fund and sustainability for the library here in Butler. Happy to answer any questions.
We did get in our packet just kind of a brief overview of everything that the Community Foundation does. So what is it that, how can you help Butler in this situation?
How long do you have? So a couple of things off the top of my head. Your endowment is part of a pooled endowment, and we have $76 million. So $76 million brings you lower investment fees, all of those things. And in addition, because we offer this for all of our donors, if people wanted to make gifts into the fund, they can do so directly on our website. If somebody wanted to make, say, a complicated gift to the funds, like a stock gift or maybe their required minimum distribution, that's also something we manage. And that is all included in what we do for all of our agency funds. We have about 75 funds that are organizational funds for organizations in Waukesha County, everyone from libraries, like I mentioned, to nonprofit organizations. And so the other thing we do is we connect donors. So if we are working with a donor and they said, man, I'm passionate about literacy and I live up toward Butler, we would, of course, make sure we talk to them about the library. They would probably already know about the library because I know how well loved the Butler Library is here in your community. So those are just a few of the things that we would do. We have a team of 5 people. All of the fund information is available online. There's an online portal. And there are monthly fund statements, so you can kind of see how the fund is growing, what is happening with that, if there's any gifts to the fund, whoever the fund advisors are that the library board would set up, they receive an email that says, hey, somebody just made a gift to the fund. So anyway, there's a lot, I think, of advantages to, again, that pooled endowment and taking advantage of the services we offer for all of our fund advisors.
So the $10,000 that you're asking for, does that get commingled with all the other donor or other places that you work with?
Yeah, it's a pooled endowment. So everything's together. But those monthly statements that you get, they are specifically on your piece of that endowment. So as far as earnings and gifts and all of that, the monthly reporting that you have access to has all of that broken out.
And then is our money protected from is it insured through the FDIC? Or
It's an investment, so no investments are protected. Any investment fund in the world is not FDIC insured. We do have 25 years of experience, and we've grown from 0 to $76 million. So our investments are managed by an investment policy statement and overseen by our investment committee and our board. It is managed conservatively. A community foundation is intended to last forever. So that's certainly why we want to help all of the funds do that are in our endowment.
Melissa, I just have one question for you really quick. Can you describe, just to kind of go with what President Kasdorf was asking, are you bound by statutory limits on what you can invest in? Like, are you like we are bound by like limits on very low risk
Mhm.
types of investments? Are you bound by anything like that?
Well, we have our investment policy statement that lays out those limits, I guess, that our organization has set for itself. We are audited. We are also accredited through the Council on Foundations, which is the body that for all foundations in the country. That is a 3-year accreditation process. One thing that's really unique, and I don't know if any of you have looked this up, but there's a very special relationship between libraries and community foundations laid out in our state statutes. So Wisconsin State actually has in the state statutes that for libraries specifically, if they're interested in developing endowment funds, that they point to the community foundations as a place to do that specifically.
Okay, I've got a question. That I know the answer, but I've got a question so everybody else knows. Where did this $10,000 come from? Would you step up there and talk to it?
Sure. As I stated in the information that I sent to you, prior to 2018, any monies that was donated directly to the library were placed into a non-lapsing fund so that they would always be available for the library. Prior to 2018, our budget was a part of the village budget. So any monies that we had not spent by the end of the year went back to the village. The non-lapsing fund was set up to protect those specific donations to the library. When we went into a special revenue fund in 2018, that money that was in the non-lapsing fund was moved into our reserve fund. So that's, depending on which year you look at, either $10,000 or $14,000. And that's where that money would come from that we're asking to put into the endowment. Did that answer your question?
And then does this like replace our reserve? Then all our reserves will eventually, is that the design or?
No, this actually just, it supplements our revenue stream. So we will still have a reserve fund and be about 10% of our annual operating budget, which was a number we agreed to with Ben, probably last year, because the library has minimal risk since the village owns the building. We just need enough in our reserve fund, our savings account, if you will, for those really odd things that
Sure.
we can't anticipate happening.
Then you
All the
just-
computers die.
Yeah, okay.
You
Yeah.
know? So we will still have a reserve fund to be about 10% in that range. And we would have the endowment fund, which is going to create a revenue stream for us. And a place for people to donate money.
Can they donate now? I mean, people can donate now, can't they?
They can donate to.
It would go to the
they-
Friends, right?
It gets complicated. Yes, they can donate directly to the library or they can donate to the Friends. The difference is that we would have to put those donations into the reserve fund or put them into our operating fund, depending on where we needed the money. And we couldn't go out and ask people. The library board could not go out and ask people to make donations. Not sure I answered your question.
I'll just make a little note that the other libraries we work with, that money that is in their endowment is all donor money. So no tax dollar money, if you will. It's all money that has been donated to the library. Interestingly enough, the Waukesha Public Library has 3 different funds with us. And then the Friends of the Waukesha Public Library has their own fund too. So, because they are different organizations.
This is my first dealing with like an endowment of this, of what the village is being asked. I'm wondering if we could table this just to maybe so we could get some more information.
Like, what would you like to know? Because she can give you all the information right now.
I mean, all of the information we could have is in the materials I presented to you through Ben.
I haven't.
We have the state statute, we have the history of where the funds came from. how the fund's governed, what our current funding model is. I mean,
I don't understand. I mean, the problem I'm struggling with is it's $10,000 that I saw in here that your return is on average 7%. The village right now is doing about 3 to 4% on what we're restricted by, on what we can invest in. You're asking for a $10,000 donation. I know it's all your money because we're the custodians of your money. So I'm a little bit also, I'm not sure on what our role is as a custodian is with that money. So you're asking, we hold your money, we hold your library money,
we do
so
our banking for us,
we
yes.
do everything for you. So what I'm struggling with is trying to figure out what is our role as a custodian if I personally am not comfortable with quite knowing what this $10,000 is gonna get us.
Well, I
Because
think,
there is the opportunity of losing that $10,000 on a bad day.
yeah, and I could lose my retirement fund too on a bad day. I hope not. I mean, Ben's been working with the auditors and spoke with Melissa. We spoke quite a while in the office, about a month ago, I believe, about how the village how the administration is going to not manage the money, because you guys manage the money, but at least be able to account to the village about where that money is. And it is library funds. We're not asking for taxpayer dollars.
Correct. I understand.
See, that's where I'm gonna make sure that we understand each other, is that this was never taxpayer money. This is all donated money. So if by chance, and God forbid, they lose that $10,000, it's not the tax money that is being lost. It is money that's been donated to the library. So I feel comfortable doing this.
Melissa, has there ever been a year where you saw a loss?
Oh, sure, right?
Okay.
I mean.
I just want
Absolutely.
to make sure just where,
Yeah, yeah.
again,
So
your average is about 7%.
yeah, the average is 7.5%. We have years that are amazing, right? Last year was a pretty good year. I think about 12% returns. 2023 was a great year. 2022 wasn't a great year, right? But all of those good years and bad years go together for that average of 7.5%. And so, I mean, if our endowment goes down to zero, that $10,000 will be the least of all of our problems. I mean, that will mean, a worse than 2008 kind of loss, right? We existed in 2008, and we just put together our 25-year history. So I was able to talk to the person who was president at that time, and he said, "Yeah, that was pretty scary." But even then, our endowment did not lose what other endowments lost because we're very conservatively invested.
And it is liquid, where if we wanted to, if all of a sudden something happened with the library,
Yep.
we would request the funds. And I know that in the packet, you said that it would be about a turnaround of 30 days, but I believe, Charlene, you had told me that if needed, there could be like an emergency meeting
Yep.
where they meet and cut the check back to us.
Exactly. If there was some emergency thing, I can actually administratively approve a grant up to $8,000. And if more than that was needed, then we can do a special e-vote with our board. I mean, we're all about the community. That's why we exist. And so we are your partners in that way. We want the library to be able to grow their endowment. And we're not here to be any kind of a roadblock to that. We're only here to help with that. So because of my personal love for libraries, I love it that we work with so many libraries in the county, and I'd love to add Butler to the list.
So I seriously, I've been working on this since 2020. This has been going on my 5th year of trying to figure this out. We really desperately, as a library, need to develop another source of revenue. I laid out in our current funding model, you can see that support from the village percentage-wise has gone down over the past 6 years. I understand why that's happening. And it's the impetus to figure out how to get some more money into the operating budget. We can only get so much from the county. That's all based on circulation. That's gonna, I mean, you could say it kind of wavers between 6 and 12%. We actually don't get as many fees anymore because we have an efficient reminder system for people to return their library books on time. So we're losing money there. This would create another revenue stream for us and one that we could build on. We could apply for grants that are only allowed to go into endowments. The village, the library board itself could run a fundraising campaign, help us build our future. The money return is only part of it. It's being connected into that giving community and being able to, the library board being able to take some control over helping to build a revenue stream. And we'd like to get started.
How much do you anticipate you might make on the revenue side of it? Has there been any calculations on that at all, or projections?
I mean, that all depends on donors, right? Once you have a place for donors to go, something to promote, we provide our fund advisors if they want a direct link to the fund to do online giving, if they want a QR code, those kinds of things. I know that last year, the Waukesha Public Library really promoted their endowment at year-end giving, and they got quite a few gifts to the endowment. Once there's a place to ask donors to give, that makes a big difference. Again, investment-wise, we have an average of 7.5%. I mean, it's never guaranteed, but over time, that has been since our current investment partner in 2016. So yeah, I mean, it all depends on donors and how many people. But I do know, and from meeting with the library board and from talking with folks who live up here, how important the library is to the village. And so I feel confident that once there was a place for people to support the library, that they would likely enthusiastically do so.
Charlene, is there a targeted appeal plan for the community? If this gets approved tonight, how are we going to communicate this to the residents?
That's premature. We haven't gone that far yet.
Okay.
The focus has been on getting there's no sense in laying plans to ask people for money if if the board has nowhere to put it. So we haven't gone that far yet.
Okay.
I am active with other organizations that do annual appeals, so I'm aware of processes and things that work well. And we've got the backing of the board too, and the staff who are interested in participating in that and helping with us.
But it does make it easier to donate.
Yeah, the other thing I should have mentioned earlier too is that when people do donate, we take care of acknowledging their gifts and sending them their tax receipts and all of that. So that's something that the library doesn't have to add on to. It's probably already large administrative load. When people make gifts to the fund, they get their acknowledgments from the fund.
Thank you.
I
Any
will
other-
say that I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, any other questions?
I just want to make a couple other comments. I know of 2 incidences here where we missed out on donations from the families of people who passed because we didn't have a place to put it other than into our operating fund, and they weren't interested in doing that. So that's just an example. The potential for opening up more avenues for people to feel like they're making a long-lasting, substantial donation or support to the library.
Thank you. Any other questions for our guests? Does someone want to make a
I'll make
motion?
a motion to approve resolution 25-02.
I'll second that.
I heard Mark and Tom. A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. I'll do a nay. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And Paul, we can certainly work with
Yes.
you to address additional.
Definitely. I'll look into that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Item C, new business discussion and possible action on a request from Nick Lawfer, agent for MMN Lawfer Family Limited Partnership doing business as Butler Skateland. Let's see, located at 124 West Custard, 12400 West Custard Avenue, Butler, Wisconsin, 53007, to amend the 2021 conditional use permit to extend their hours of operation for their evening skate session on Saturdays from 8:30 to 9 p.m. and for continued operation of an indoor skating rink facility pursuant to Article 3, Section 54-72D and 54-359 of the Village of Butler Municipal Code of Ordinances. The property is zoned M3, heavy industry district. And we did have a plan commission on this, and there was no opposition and there was no public speakers.
Correct. And the police chief spoke at the Public Safety Committee meeting, gave an update where there was only, I believe, 3 incidences at Skateland, 2 of which were just fire and EMS assistance, 1 dispute that was not a citable or enforceable offense. So over the past several quarters, if not several years, Skateland has been relatively, calm, not too much going on in the way of that. The police chief did not indicate any type of opposition to this amendment to the CUP. I think it's just moving it back a half an hour for their evening skate sessions on Saturday so they can kind of clear people out from the first skating session easier and quicker, and then get on with the second skating session of the night. We do have Mr. Lawfer in the audience if you have questions, but that is kind of the background on that.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Nick. Item D, discussion and possible action on ordinance 25-02, an ordinance to amend certain sections of chapter 54, article 8 of the Butler Municipal Code regarding signs.
Yes, so this also went to the Plan Commission, and they gave a positive recommendation. This ordinance is meant to tighten up our ordinances with regards to signs. It also creates 2 new types of signs that the village would regulate, including temporary signs and the large real estate signs when there's a development. One of the bigger things is targeting the basically, like the village, it does not have a code that allows lewd or obscene signs. However, it does not explicitly state that we prohibit them either. So this ordinance would create that. It would create that to be enforceable, and that if there is to be any changes to the sign, so if they had to repaint it, if they had to replace it, they would not be able to replace a sign that's out of compliance. They would have to bring it into compliance. A lot of the changes were detailed in the Plan Commission and in the Village Board packet in Aaron's memo to the board. So if you have any questions in particular regarding the ordinance, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
And the Plan Commission recommended adopting this, right?
Yes.
Correct.
And there was no public hearing. No one spoke at public hearing about it. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 25-02.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item E, ordinance 25-03, an ordinance amending section 2-209C and D of the municipal code of the Village of Butler as it pertains to the duties and hearings of the building board.
Yes, so it came to my attention that the building board has been operating for some time in a little bit of a gray area when it came to certain things such as signs, fences, and occupancy permits. Our code does not explicitly state that they have the power and authority to, do much with them. So this ordinance is to tighten that all up and to make it very explicit that the building board is to review and approve these different permits. And that is the main goal of that ordinance, to make that clear.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I had a couple, I can't find it in my. This is why it's good to have paper copies. Just that, when I looked at the wording, so the goal of this is to basically assure that the building board has final say.
That, yeah, so the building board can review, approve,
Where is
deny, those types of
Where's the
permits.
page? That's page 5, Article 8. I'm not finding it right now. Do you have it? Oh, that's the one I've got. I don't want that one. Page 5 of Article 8, and I can't find it. Anyways, I just thought the wording on it wasn't quite as concrete. I can't find it right now.
That's page 5.
Okay. Uh, After such review, the application shall be forwarded to the building board, where that body will have the ability to review the application. Question staff subsequently approved tonight. I guess I was just looking for something a little more definitive, final say, I don't know.
And you can make a motion to change the wording of that if you have something that's more
Does that make sense what I'm
specific.
saying, you guys, or?
It does, but I think approve and deny kind of hits that. You Either get
I'm-
one or
I'm-
the other,
If
right?
you guys are good with it, I am.
It's approve, deny, or place conditions.
It's the
So-
final say,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
okay.
so it's kind of the same thing,
No, I see what you're,
right?
Okay,
With that said, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2503.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
one final word on that. Where did I see it now? Section 2-209. Now, that red line, there's a number of typos in there. I don't know how significant that is. There's a bunch of typos in there.
I'll take a look at that.
Yeah,
and
just to clean
and
those
clear it
up.
Yeah,
Since it's going to be part of the official document.
yeah, I'll clear that up.
Okay.
Okay, so we don't, any other discussion? Thank you. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes.
What was that then?
Tom and Bill made the
Bill.
motion.
Second.
Item F, ordinance 25-04, an ordinance amending section 8-68 of the municipal code of the village of Butler as it pertains to the revocation and registration of direct sellers.
Yes, so this is one of the ordinances that I was seeking to get clarification on. Right now, all the ordinance says is that the village board will review the revocation of consider the possible revocation of a direct seller's license and registration, but it does not state how you guys get to that point. It doesn't say anything about, me communicating to you or anything like that. It just says that you guys review it. So this ordinance is to kind of clear that up and put the village administrator and a village administrator clerk, who's the one that technically issues those licenses, in between you and the applicant, where I would be the one under this ordinance to deny the license, just like a bartender, where I would deny the license for any type of impropriety. And then if they wanted to appeal my decision, then it would come to you guys in a meeting to consider and either sustain my ruling or you could overturn it. It's basically just mimicking the bartending license application, because right now we would have to have it scheduled for the next village board meeting if we wanted to revoke it. But by that time, we're talking about possibly 2 weeks. If it's in the summer, it'd probably be a month. By that time, they're probably going to be out of the village. So I would like to have they break a law, they have an issue, I pull it back. If they have an issue with it, okay, great. I'll put it on the next village board meeting, but it might not be for another 2 weeks.
Would the seller have a fee attached to their appeal if they wanted? to challenge it?
We don't have one for bartenders licenses. I know that's a separate thing, but I would not expect there to be a fee, since it would just go on the regular board meeting and nobody would have to come in extra.
I would agree with that. Any other questions on this one? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 25-04.
I'll second that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Now we will do item B of new business, recognition of Officer Taylor Longross for completing his 18-month probationary period. I would call up Chief Lazowski.
Okay, thank you again, and
Might have to wait for his family. to-
yes, I hear them. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Taylor was hired in June, right, of 2023, so our 18-month probationary period, he completed December 7th with our department. So a recognition of going through the field training process, being in solo patrol, meeting the standards, exceeding the standards set forth by our department. And I want to take the opportunity to publicly acknowledge that achievement as he becomes a permanent member of our department moving forward. And Taylor, real quick, you have some family members here, if you just want to acknowledge them for making the trek out in this cold weather.
Yeah. One's my girlfriend, Rachel. Other one's the daughter. Obviously, it's her bedtime. That's why she's grumpy. And then stepson, Caden. So I want to thank them for being here. Definitely thank the board, Chief Zalewski and Captain Benson. And then obviously the officers of the department for being here. My apologies for making you guys sit through the whole meeting, but look forward to working with you all, and that's all I got.
All right. Thanks, Taylor. Again, if we could just give him a round of applause and his family as well.
Welcome.
Thank you and congratulations. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes adjourned at 6:41. Thank you.
It was nice seeing the whole troop
Thank you, everyone.
at one time.